what is the Enneagram? The Enneagram is a tool. Remember, it's a tool. And sometimes people react because I don't want something to tell me who I am or what I am. No, it's not a thing that tells you who you are. It doesn't define you. Nothing that I ever do is meant to define you, because ultimately undefining ourselves gives us a lot more power and access to who we really are, because we don't need any more definition from the world's point of view. So the Enneagram is a tool. That is all it is. It gives you information. It helps you to reflect, and you can use it in a way that gives you strength, that helps you to see and understand. So we're complex. Human beings are complex. Life, relationships, this is all very complex. The deeper you get into the Enneagram, the more you start to understand how the nuances work and build, and how we all have all of the types in us, even though we have ones that we mostly rely upon. So there's an online assessment. One of the things that I think is really great about working with a coach like myself, or Jennifer, who is the other coach that works with me in the Enneagram through Infinite Yes, is it gives you an opportunity to have somebody to talk to about it. We don't always see ourselves super clearly, and even the best assessment isn't perfect. So having that opportunity to talk it out with somebody and to see how it applies in your life, I think is really, really useful. That's part of the reason why I made this huge class, and I'm making this particular set of slides, and because there's so much to understand. It is a circular image, as you can see, which is really powerful because it indicates that there is no beginning and there is no end. There are 9 primary points for those of you who study science, like Nikola Tesla. 9 is a very important frequency. If you read more about his work, he talks about 9, 6, and 3. This also goes into a whole nother school of thought with his, which is numerology, sacred geometry. These things are reflected in the Enneagram, which is part of why I personally am very drawn to it, because I think that understanding energy and how we use energy and how it applies in our life is really important. So these are called styles, which we'll get into the individual names. There are multiple data points, and we're going to start to look at the Enneagram almost the way that we used to look at the transparencies at school, where they would stack up on top of each other and make a more complex, comprehensive story for us to understand. It allows for self-discovery, improves relationships, all these things I've talked about. It can be simple. I really ask everybody to start with the point of view of compassion. Now, something that a lot of Enneagram teachers will tell you is that you should not ever type anyone else. And that's ideal, but we all do. We do. Once we have just a few drops of this, it goes to our head and we think we know what other people are. You may or may not be right. And there may be times when understanding that without a conversation with that person is what you need to cope. It's better if you have a conversation with the person, which is why it's nice to do this in teams or families. And if you can't get people to do it that way, that's fine. You can still learn a lot on your own. Again, it's very rich. It's very deep. You can use it in so many ways. And the components of personality are one of the things that I think are so interesting.